Good morning. Hey, this is Greg Nelson with the sixth episode of Morning Money Motivations. I really appreciate you tuning in and watching this show. We're not talking stocks and bonds during morning money motivations. We're talking about getting your head right about sales, getting your head right about what's going to take place and how effective you're going to be engaging with the guest when they walk in the door. But this past week, we've been talking phones, and we have the half day, the free virtual live half day phone mastery workshop coming up this Saturday at February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And that is where you're going to learn Grant Cardone's proven successful phone selling strategies on how you can uh, take any type of phone call, whether it's taking an inbound call or placing an outbound call, where you're going to be able to control that call, work it down into an appointment, and have the customer confirm and set their own appointment. We're going to teach you about prospecting. We're going to teach you about cold calling. We're going to teach you about making the follow-up phone call. What are you going to say on the fifth or the sixth attempt? Okay, the reality is 48% of salespeople don't make one follow-up phone call. And I just learned that the actual statistic, out of the 52% that do make a follow-up phone call, 90% of them don't make it past the third attempt. And reality is it's going to take between 5 and 12 attempts to be able to close the deal. And so knowing what to say, getting creative with your follow-up to where you're just not going to sound like a broken record because you only have one or two word tracks in your repertoire. Well, we're gonna beef up your arsenal, beef up your warehouse, your tool belt, and so you'll be able to overcome most of the common objections that you're going to hear. The reality is most of the objections that we hear anyway, all they are is really complaints, and they should be handled complaints until further validated as an objection. Uh, Again, on February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, it's our half day free live virtual phone sales mastery workshop. And you can get your tickets at thehardknockstate.com. Um, who is Grant Cardone? If you're just getting into business or into your sales career, you may not have heard of Grant Cardone. However, if you've been in business and sales for some time, and you haven't heard of Grant Cardone, quite honestly, and no offense, you've probably been living under a rock. Grant Cardone is a best-selling author of several sales and business books, plus 16 different his own business publications. Some of his best-selling books include uh, the 10x rule. This book took the world by storm, and it's the only difference between failure and success. He's also a writer and contributor on. He's a contributor on a lot of cable news network television shows, and a contributor on writing articles for business magazines. And he is also the star of The Undercover Billionaire Season 2 and The Turnaround King. And he holds over $7 billion of real estate assets under management with his company Cardone Capital. In fact, he is a owner or part owner, co-owner of 16 privately held companies. And I'll say over the 35, 40 years, Grant has uh, had the foresight and the smarts to record everything that he's done. Throughout where he recorded every objection he heard, he recorded his response to that objection, how it played out, and then he would just go back and rework all that material to where he got it so it was streamlined, it was effective, it was simple, it was ethical, and it was transparent. And he has all these programs now into place. And I've been a licensee for Grant Cardone now for about 6 months, 7 months now, and I got to tell you, it's been the best decision I ever made. I went through all of the certifications of that Grant has in order to be certified by his team to teach and coach Grant's 10x sales professional material to you. And so I own a company up in the Pacific Northwest called The Hard Knock State. We're a sales coaching, sales training company. I've been an automotive sales professional for 20 years, and I got to tell you, it was about 10 years ago when I really took the deep dive into Grant's material and started plugging into his teachings. And I was just an average kid from just an average, maybe a little bit above average neighborhood with two just average middle class parents. And I was lucky enough that my parents distilled um, a a work ethic in me at an early age. I was, if I wanted something, I had to go out and I had to work for it. So normally that would mean doing fundraisers door to door, or doing yard work, mowing lawns. When I got older, I started a newspaper distribution route. And I had two of them. I had one before I would go to school in the morning, and I'd have one when I'd come home with a competing newspaper company after I got home from school. So my day was completely taken up for the most of with work from about the age of 13 and on up. But that it was that work ethic that I think keeps driving and motivating me to get to the next level in life. But when I about 10 years ago, I remember I was just an average sales professional, and I really wanted to hit the numbers that the top producers were hitting. And so I started plugging in. I got Grant's audiobooks. I started listening to those over and over on a constant loop. And then I started to plugging into his online training university, Cardone University. Before I knew it, by the end of the year, my manager was tapping me on the shoulder, congratulating me that I had finished as one of the top producers in the organization. And it wasn't much long after that I got promoted into sales management, where I was coaching and training other sales professionals of all skill levels on how they could sell more, sell consistently, and earn more on each sale. So now I'm the father of two, and here I am trying to juggle not only the family life but also the business life and the career, and as many of you are doing just the same. But the reality is 76% of us live paycheck to paycheck. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to, or what I want to do is I want to be able to help people understand that they can live a rewarding life through a successful career in sales. And so becoming extremely good in sales, and I believe most of us are fairly good face to face. We're able to greet a customer, we're able to take them through the process and find a product that's going to solve their needs, and then we're able to get a proposal in front of them. I think after we find the product and we're able to find a product that solves their needs, I think they're I think those people at that point, the other half getting a proposal in front of them needs the follow up when the customer says no and they need to go home and think about it, and we let the customer leave the store. The follow up is where we need extreme help with. And a lot of that is because we just don't know what to say when we're on the phone. We just don't have the knowledge. We may have, again, one or two good word tracks that we're going to use. But usually the phone call goes something like this. Hey, John, this is Greg. I was just thinking about you from last night, and I just wanted to see if you had any other questions or if there was any more information I could get for you. No? Okay, well, you have my contact information, and I'll be here until 8 o'clock tonight. If you need anything, just give me a call. Thanks, John. And that's typically the average follow-up phone call. And about two of those are placed out of the 52% of people that do make follow-up phone calls, and it gets us nowhere. So how do we keep that going? Okay. Well, first of all, if you've been following along in the morning show here, we know that rejection is another reason why salespeople don't pick up the phones. And we're the reason why we feel objection is because our pipeline is tiny, and we need to blow that pipeline up. We need to get it so overflowing with prospects and prospective clients that if one person says no, and we're doing the right actions following up with this guest, this potential customer. We're taking everything we can, but if they say no, and we just can't get them to convert into actually closing on our product or our service, well, we know that we have other avenues and other people we can fall back on should something not work out. So I wanted to talk to you about building a list. To hit your target, you're going to need a list. You need names. The organization of the way you organize your list will determine how many calls you can get through, who you're going to call, how you're going to contact them, and the speed at which you contact them, and how good your call is going to be. So remember we talked about our power base. Everybody's got a power base. Friends, family, neighbors, people you've beat up, people who beat you up, people in your community, someone at church. Start there, okay? And number two is the second group we want to start reaching out to and organizing our list is our sold customers. Either your sold customers or the company's sold orphan customers. Let's say you were in another product and then they were happy with that product relationship with them, but you've moved on from industry to industry. Well, reach out to some of those people, but be careful. You don't want to, reach out to, if you've had to sign, some industries make you sign a contract that says you're not going to take those customers with you, but many of them don't. And so if you didn't have to sign one of those, don't hesitate and reach out to those people. Look, they bought you more than they bought the product or the service, right? And they did business with you because they like you. And so there's no reason why you wouldn't want to stop that relationship just because you're not working for that organization. Number three is lost customers. At the end of every month, look at the leads you've received and look at your previous customers and see who hasn't re-upped with you, who hasn't reordered with you or replaced their product in quite a while. You'll probably find some good success with the lost customers. Number four, this is just an absolute gold mine. And a lot of these customers are just hoping somebody from the organization will reach out to them. These are our company's orphaned customers, okay? And what an orphan customer is this is a customer where they once purchased from a sales associate or sales professionals who at one time worked for your company, but that sales professional now works for a different company industry. They went back to school. Who knows? They moved out of the country. Who knows, right? They're no longer with your organization. So those customers need somebody to communicate with for the servicing and information, ongoing assistance and service with their product. Absolute gold mine. Number five is social media. You could buy list. You can get, search on Google, do Google searches for people that you need to get in contact with, people who would have a use and a need for your product and service. And number six is give free content. You can build a list by providing content. You could offer a webinar, just like the Phone Sales Mastery half-day live boot camp on February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And by the way, you can get your tickets to that at thehardknockstate.com. But you could also provide ebooks, you could provide newsletters, you could provide testimonials, case studies, free reports. You could also do videos on YouTube. Now, you should always be building your list. And how big should you build it? Well, you should build it big. And how you complete your list is how you will determine your ability on how you're able to hit your targets. Let's talk a little bit about call preparation that will guarantee your success. Okay, inside sales is very different from outside traditional and cold calling blitz marketing sales. Okay, the difference is in inside sales, it's much more strategic just than calling in random names off of a random list. And here are 5 ways you can nail the pre-investigation portion of your call. By the way, most retail sales organizations most retail commission jobs where it's a storefront, it's a showroom, it's an office. That is an inside sales job. And so that's what we refer to as inside sales versus just sitting in a boiler room with rows and rows of desks and cubicles of people just with headsets on, just pounding out telemarketing calls on a list, right? So here are 5 ways you can nail the pre-investigation portion of this call. Okay, number one is check out your prospect's website. You need to know the basics. Look for a unique selling proposition. How are they different? Okay. Where are they trying to position themselves in the marketplace? Number two is identify problems associated with their business or their industry. Finding things that your prospect would actually spend money on to solve a problem is different than telling you what they're doing wrong. Number three, seek out personal connections to facilitate a warm introduction. And LinkedIn is a strong way to find mutual connections. Okay. Number four, connect with the influencers in the company. Uh, Influencers are people who may not, they're not decision makers, but the decision maker relies on that person for information, whether they use the information or reject the information, whether they always ask this person for information and do the exact opposite, no matter whether they take that information and run with it. That's an influencer of the company. So look for influencers of the company and don't ignore them. Look for things that would be useful in your pursuit of a prospect. That would be our number fifth thing. At the end of the day, your call needs to be a bit warm. So do anything you can to give yourself a leg up. And let's talk about your script a bit, because your script is your roadmap, and shooting from the hip will always deliver an inconsistent pitch. And an inconsistent pitch will always deliver inconsistent results. Number one, once you get a script that works, follow your script exactly. Whenever you run off script, you're going to find yourself thinking more about what you're going to say next, how you're going to take that call next, instead of actually listening to the prospect and what it is they're saying. Remember, you have to learn the script. Okay. You need to memorize the script. You should keep the script in front of you at all times, no matter how experienced you are on the phone. You should initialize the script until you make it your very own, until you can put your own personality into it. Okay. Until it's just rolling off of your lips, until you're comfortable with it. You know it like the back of your hand. Then deliver it to the customer the same way every time. Forget about creativity until you get this down. Okay, this is a big mistake many sales teams make. When someone gives you the phone, you should be able to say just about the same thing every time. Why? Because you want to be stable, and being stable and saying will develop consistency. Stick with the script until you validate that it's broken, or better, stick with it until you validate that it works. Hey, look, if you ever played sports and you had a game plan that was effective 90% on 90% of the people 90% of the time, you would run that game plan, you would run that play over and over and over and over again. In wrestling, it's the same way. Hey, when I was a wrestler, uh, our coach taught us that learn and perfect one or two good moves and use those moves and make sure those moves are effective on 90% of the people 90% of the time. And so that's exactly what you need to do, and that will build consistency. And so if you're in sales, or you're thinking about getting into sales, and you're worried about the big peaks and valleys, some people will have these just stellar months, but then drop down and have a month or two where they're scraping the bottom of the bucket, so they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, and then they'll have another good month. We want it consistent, and we want it on an increase, on a line, consistent, just like that. Role play every day. Okay. Role playing is so important. You may think role playing is a waste of time, but it can decrease the retention of a topic by 58%. No joke. Okay. So look, you need to drill your phone scripts and you need to get them down pat. And then always have them available where you can follow along and look at, no matter how good you can get. Because you'll increase your retention of exactly the layout of that script by 58%. Okay. I found a few things that make role playing very effective. Okay, use a mirror to yourself deliver the script, so you can see the facial exchanges. You can see how confident you are in delivering that script, and then look at your tone of your voice. Okay, look at your conviction. Record yourself on your phone. Okay, of going through the script and replay it, and then just keep reworking it, role playing that by recording yourself until you get it down pat. Use the voice memos on your phone. Record your script as you're saying it, and then listen to it. Figure out what you need to tweak. Go back, re-record it again. Listen to it again until it sounds smooth. It sounds like it's like just a constant river flowing down. Remember, we want to be the river. We don't want to be the rock. Okay. You there's so much you can get just from role playing, and if you can't get a coworker to role play with you, or your spouse, or your children, or a friend to role play with you, uh, chances are they're not going to be available the same time every single day. But if you start your day out by role playing like this, even if it's in front of a mirror, recording a video, or with voice memos, you'll really, really get to the next level of being able to communicate over the phone. The bottom line is there's no profession on this planet that would get onto a court, would walk onto a field or in an arena without warming up and without drilling on the plays that they're going to run. Um, you may think it's different in sales, but it's not. Okay, refusing to role play is a very expensive mistake. You need to do this every single day. Okay, role playing will increase your ability to convert customers to sold customers, and it's going to make you completely better and more valuable at your job. Prepare for these objections, because when we're going to start making these cold calls, when we're going to start calling people, regardless of what type of call it is, whether it's a warm call, cold call, regardless of whether we're calling out or they're calling in, okay, that we're going to get just a myriad of objections thrown to us. But remember, objections are merely complaints, and we need to handle them as such. Objections are going to happen. Objections are indicators that you're moving deeper into the sales process. You will have customers object to you on the phone, and then they'll walk into your store the next day. And then when you see them, they'll end up buying them, all because you can handle their objections. So we're going to get into this in a lot more detail a little bit later, and way more detail on this Saturday, February 10th at February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So excuse me, this Saturday, February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, for the half day sales phone sales mastery workshop. It's a free live event, and you can get your tickets at thehardknockstate.com. Take notes while you're on these calls. Okay, if you ask the right questions and demand answers, you are really in control of a call or the conversation. A script that you and call with a script that you've role played. Okay, every single piece of data you get, and you learn about the person on the other side of the phone, write it down. Okay, take notes on it. And here's a couple things you need to know about your notes. Okay, not only write them down, but write down as much as possible in the call, specifically what they say. When people start rifting off, and when the customer really starts talking, that's when you really need to start focusing and listening on what they're saying, and write it down. Okay, even things that might be a little bit off point, their daughter's name, the dog's name, where they were just at, whether they were just got back from a hike, or whether they went camping, or back from a family vacation. Write it down, okay? And then once you get done, transfer all that data into your CRM, okay? Most CRMs have a box or a storage area for not only notes on the call, but also personal notes about the customer. And so file your notes accordingly in your CRM. Keep your notes accessible, okay? The data isn't just for you. It should be shared with somebody like your manager, your BDC manager, your sales manager, and make sure your notes are easy. They're level, okay? Somebody can easily decipher exactly what you're saying. And make sure, again, can't stress this enough, make sure you get them into your CRM. And again, on February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, it is our phone sales mastery half day free live virtual workshop. You can get your ticket at thehardknockstate.com. And with that, you are going to learn how to master the most important tool in your business. You are going to learn how to handle the incoming call. You're going to learn how to control the call. You're going to learn how to set more appointments. You're going to learn how to have the customer lock in their appointment and confirm their own appointment, which will increase your show rate, your appointment show rate, which will increase your closing rate, which in turn increases your paycheck. We're going to teach you prospecting. We're going to teach you warm calls, closing, cold calls. We're going to teach you how to get past the gatekeeper. We're going to teach you how to handle cold calling objections and much, much more. And that is, again, it's a free event. And go to thehardknockstate.com and get your ticket today. And so this was going to be over Zoom. We've been having some technical issues here with the platform, so it might change, but you will be emailed a Zoom link immediately. And then also we'll reach out to you again with the downloadable workbook, because with this course, you do get a 10x Sales Professional Phone Sales Mastery Follow Along and Study at Home workbook. You're also going to get access to my private Facebook Sales Professional Networking group. In addition, you can upgrade for $19.95, and you'll get 30 days of my Revenue Rocket weekly group coaching sessions. It's one session, one 45-minute session each week, and it's a $395 value. Plus, I'm going to give you 2 of my classy contract closing pens. These are a nice metal quality pen. They got a nice weighted feel to them. It's a fine tip ballpoint pen with a stylus at the end. And closing with a good quality pen will always leave a lasting impression. So you'll get all of that for $19.95. Again, that is thehardknockstate.com. Scroll right below the banner. It will give you directions on how to get your free ticket, where to what area you need to look for. If you want the VIP upgrade, if you choose to go with it, and I don't know why you went for $19.95, but scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and in the product section, click on the VIP upgrade, and you'll get access to a $395 coaching package. It's the Revenue Rocket sales group coaching, 4 individual 45-minute sessions with workbooks, the pens, the classy contract closing pens, the access to the private Facebook networking group, and then, of course, the half-day phone mastery workshop. When you get done with this workshop, you are going to have so much knowledge available, and you're going to know exactly what to say. You're going to learn how to build a script. You're going to hear scripts. You can duplicate these scripts if you want, and I would recommend that you would do that until you can work out your own unique script. And again, remember, your script has to put the customer's needs first, and yours and the store's needs second. And then but then you'll be able to perfect that script. You'll get so deadly on the phone that you'll become one of the most valuable sales associates in your organization. Because the reality is that once you get extremely good and you learn how to master selling on the phone, you'll be able to sell in person that that much more better. And then, but not only that, uh, your competition is extremely weak on the phone, and they're not going to take the time to master these phone selling skills like you are. And so that will make you, by itself, a more valuable sales associate, because when everybody else is standing around the showroom or the office, or they're standing around the store, they're waiting for customers to walk in, and you're on the phone and you're driving traffic in, and pretty soon you won't have to wait on the walking customer, because your pipeline is going to get so full, so overfilling with leads and prospects, that you're just going to end up working by appointment. And wouldn't that be a great feeling? Be able to lay out your day, not have to take a fresh walking customer. Hey, look, people who call in looking for information on the phone, looking for a product or service, people who actually pick up the phone, that's your most serious buyer. So why wouldn't you want to be able to handle these people as effectively as possible? Okay. And why me? Okay. Well, again, I'm a 20-year sales veteran, with 6 years in sales management in a coaching and training role. Okay. I've been uh, in business and experience for over 30 years. I've climbed the ladder in two different industries, and I've this owned multiple businesses. I believe this is my fourth, with the first one starting 13 years old. I've been certified by Grant Cardone's team. Been certified by them to deliver you Grant's sales coaching, 10x sales coaching and training curriculum, and I practice what I preach. Everything I tell you to use, all of Grant's material, I've used it myself, and I know that it works. I know that it's effective, and I know that it will make it will and the I, I really I really understood, there is a training within their organization, and stepping sometimes willing to help, willing to give you all of the proven successful strategies and materials you'll need to be a success in your career. Well, it's really States, if not globally. Uh, uh, and more if I can. Uh, live paycheck to paycheck, and 47 it is what I am going to do from now until I retire. And that's help 10 million people live a successful life through a rewarding career in sales. And that's exactly what I want to do for you. And so visit me at the Hard Knock State. I guarantee you, you start on this journey and take the step to invest in yourself and invest in your personal and professional development. It's the best investment you can ever make, and it's you'll never lose your money when you invest in yourself. The information you'll heck you could what however whatever package you decide would is going to work best for you moving forward in your training career with the Hard Knock State. I guarantee you, you'll make millions off of it, and you'll never look back, and you'll think about why you didn't do it sooner, and you'll shake your head, and you'll be dumbfounded how you used to be able to justify living paycheck to paycheck. And again, so it is been my pleasure to be able to help you with this material today. Hopefully, you got your head right about making money today. Remember, look for every single opportunity. Problems that you come across with, look for the opportunity in that problem. People are coming to see you because they have a problem that needs to be solved, and your product or service just might be the right thing for them. And so go out and absolutely crush it. And we'll see you this evening for tonight's live stream.